Now what? When it comes to speedrunning Rain World, a lot of runs end in the depths. The majority of the base game runs and many of the downpour runs involve the depths, and the difference between knowing what you're doing and not is pretty stark. I've spent a fair amount of time practicing the depths, as most of the runs I've ever done end there, and so I think I should share my method for the depths to the masses so you can hopefully improve your own runs. As a disclaimer, this is not the fastest method. No one will ever know the fastest method. That's not how Rain World speedrunning really works. This is just what I do and what has led to consistently good times. These movement options and routing choices revolve around base game movement, so this will not be useful for rivulet runs. The main movement techs I'll use here are rolls, fast rolls, backflips, fast pole climb, wall pounces, slides, slide pounces, E-slides, and EI jumps. None of these are super advanced techs, EI jump being the most difficult, and those are honestly completely optional here. In most cases, jumping out of an E-slide works just fine. If any of those words are unfamiliar, this guide may be a bit too advanced, but you should watch it anyway so YouTube likes me. If you'd like to learn those words, join the Rain World Discord and ask in the movement channel. I'll have a link to that in the description. As a final note, I did not find most of this. The Rain World speedrunning community has existed for over 7 years, and in that time, people found many fast movement options. I'm just compiling my favorites here. Anyways, video game time. Alright, to start out, I'm going to turn on a filter to increase the gamma. That way you can see the terrain of the depths. Knowing the terrain of the depths is going to be the single biggest thing when it comes to improving your times in the depths. If you're ever confused about an area, it's always an option to look at the map or open the interactive map and you'll be able to see the geometry there. How I'm going to structure this, I'm going to do each room initially, how I do it, with optimal items. So I have a little mod on that keeps respawning rocks in my hands. And then I'll go over what I'm doing in each area and what you should be aiming for. And to start, we will be doing this room. Alrighty, ta-da. First room done. What did I do there? The first consideration when you enter this room is how many items do you have in hand. If you have one item, doing an EI jump here is great, but what's more important is doing the E-slide here, as you saw the chain that it leads to. If you only have one item entering this room and you don't want to gamble, or you have no items, what you can do instead is, as you exit this shortcut, tap down a little bit, and then hold left, and then fast roll, jump, and then regular roll, and then jump again. The timing for this is pretty simple. It's just a fast roll, and once you land on this lower platform here, pounce as soon as you can. You can't chain a second fast roll here, or at least I'm unable to, so doing a regular roll will work just as well. You don't lose too much time doing this anyways. Regardless of your method, once you're over here, this second platform down, not the upper one, you can do an E-slide, and you want to pounce out of that E-slide about here, and then do 2 fast roll chains. That way you land on this block right here. Once I'm here, I like to jump, roll, pounce, and throw. That way you land on top of this block here. From here, I'm kind of just freestyling it over to this platform, and then I slide pounce to enter here, do an E-slide, and then memorizing where these little gaps in the floor are is kind of tough. I mean, it looks like I'm right underneath it right now, but it's actually a little bit further to the right. It takes a little bit of practice, you'll get used to it. Just move up through these, and then you exit, and you're done with the first room. Alright, moving on to the demonstration of the second room. That room is fairly quick and pretty self-explanatory, but it is important to note that for just about every shortcut in the depths, you want to be doing an exit boost as you leave the shortcut. So that's pressing jump just a little bit before you leave. Jump out, fast roll, pounce, fast pole climb up here. I just did a little slower there, so it's easy to demonstrate. And then from about this point, you want to do a slide pounce into the shortcut. If you do it too early on here, you won't quite make it in. You have to do a second jump. If you do it too late, you'll probably hit this little nub here. So about this distance, hold left, and you're in the shortcut. Now for the third room. All right, so exit boost out of here. And then at about this point, it's a little bit easier to see as I've turned the gamma up, but you can still see it in the regular depths. You see the right side of this pillar that I'm standing on here. You want to start an E-slide here, and then you want to pounce out of the E-slide about halfway through the last pillar here. And then you want to do a fast roll, pounce, and then throw. So it's E-slide, pounce, fast roll, pounce, and throw. You want to do that second pounce right here as late as you possibly can. That way you can make the gap all the way across here with just one item, which saves a lot of time. However, it can be kind of risky. So if you don't want to throw an item or you end up short just on this right here, that's okay. Just climb up and get on top of this little platform. Once you're on this platform here, just jump off, fast roll, pounce, climb up these, and you're onto this platform. If you're not doing EI jumps, you can do an E-slide here and then jump out of it and then roll, and you'll end up about here. If you are doing EI jumps, wait to a little bit further along the platform, about halfway, and then do your EI jump. And then you can roll, pounce out of it, and you want to end up about here. Regardless of your method, once you're here, you want to slide, pounce, hold down, and the gap in the floor is pretty easy to see. It's just the right side of this wall here. And then once you've landed in here, if you have an item, you can do an E-slide to exit, or just do a couple of regular slides. Slide, stand up, slide, and enter. Now for the fourth room. So that room has a lot to start. Exit boost out of here. This jump up here can be actually pretty annoying to do. So I like to pin myself against the left wall here, jump, and then hold left. If you jump and left at the same time, sometimes you don't make it over. It's really strange. Just pin yourself against the wall, jump, and then left. Makes your life a lot easier. If you're on 1.9 and you have wall pounces enabled, you can do a slide wall pounce into here to make it up this little pillar. Otherwise, just climb up right here. There's a couple of ways to do the fast roll chain to the left here. The easiest being to climb up this pole, hold left a little bit, and then jump off, and then you can do the whole chain. The timing for this backflip is hard though, as you need to be holding left again quite soon after starting the backflip, which can mean you can miss input like I did there, or you can backflip and just not hold left soon enough. Once you're here, you want to stay crouched, and as you go over the other side of this nub here, you want to do an uncrawl jump, which is up and then jump shortly after, and you want to throw an item and then start a fast roll. Like that. If you don't have an item, it's alright, just do a normal uncrawl jump, land on this platform, and then you can start the fast roll down on the next pillar. Assuming you do have an item, you've made this fast roll, pounce out of it at the top, and then you'll land right here on the back side of this pillar, and you want to do another pounce out of that quite soon, and then you'll roll, and then on about the screen transition, you want to pounce out of it. The gap you're aiming for is this single tile here. You'll notice that all of these are kind of double wide, but right here is one that is only single wide, and that's what you're aiming for. So the chain for that would look like this. It's pretty hard to aim directly for this. If you get it, it feels great though. Once you're in here, if you have another item, you can do an E-slide, jump out of it over here. Otherwise, just do a couple of short slide pounces like this, and then jump out. From here, just jump up here, do an EI jump. If you don't have items or you don't want to do an EI jump, doing a slide roll pounce here is perfectly fine. If you're doing E-slides, this is also great. You just want to land on this pillar here, climb over. Be careful to wait until your head is kind of over each of these lumps here before you jump again. Otherwise, you'll end up wall jumping a lot of the time, which is really evil. And I can't even do it when I'm trying to. It's really strange. But you'll find if you spam jump here a lot, you'll end up climbing off the edge. It's going to take me an hour to demonstrate that because that's just how Rain World is when you're recording it. Once you've summited this mound here, you want to take advantage of the fact that there's a little speed boost as you climb over ledges, and then as your feet just get up onto the edge, you want to jump. and you get a little bit further of a boost than if you actually climb all the way up and then jump like that. Once you've made it onto this platform, you want to do a slide pounce and then end up in here. The false floor is a little bit harder to find here because there's actually 3 of these little 1 wide tiles, but it's these last 2 here. Pull down, you're in here, and then you can slide and enter. All right, demonstration for this 5th room. This room is pretty simple. You want to boost out, stand up, and then you want to get onto this lower platform here. And there's a neat trick where if you just jump to the right and then let go of your right key, your head will kind of hit this pillar here, and you'll fall straight down the gap between all of these lower platforms. Just like that. If you don't want to do that though, just doing this is perfectly fine. If you have an item or you pick up an item, you can do an E-slide here. You want to kind of pounce out of it and then start your wall jumps right away. And voila, you're done with that room. This is how I do the 6th room. This room is pretty simple, but it has a lot of options. First thing is to boost out of this shortcut here, so you make it over onto this little ledge here. And then you want to do an E-slide, and then finding this gap in the floor here, I still mess it up. It just takes practice. Climb up here, and then getting onto the ledge above us. This is the main gimmick of this room. There's a lot of ways to do it. I like to do a backflip and throw like that. Another option is to do a wall pounce like that, or 2 wall pounces like this, or if you're crazy, you can just vault, which, there we go. I forgot another method you can do here, which is to use the wall jump coyote frames and throw to make it over to here. In any case, you're going to make it up here somehow, some way. Maybe if you just embed a spear, you'll end up here. And then you just leave the room. 7th room. This room is one of the most freeform in the depths. It really depends on how many items you get, but usually you'll have 1 item as you land in here. I like to do an EI jump here and then do a tiny little momentum jump off of this little ledge here. The general principle for these rooms is you want to do EI jumps right before these ledges here, as you get a lot of air time. If you're not doing EI jumps, E-slides and jumping out of them is great. You could just do slide pounces and roll pounces. All that is fine. I just like to do EI jumps because I have a lot of practice with them. Here's the second one. And then you got to be really careful over here to not land in this little pit. So you kind of want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you can make this jump up here and not get stuck down here. Once you get onto here, climb up this pole. You'll notice I did it in the demonstration as well. I'll pause here for a second. I find if you're kind of stuck on this ledge here and then you hold left and you do a jump, it's a really common place to do a wall jump, and landing back down here is disastrous as we're getting into the lower depths time, and any mistake takes an eternity to recover from. Up here, I just like to jump off, fast roll, pounce, and then get into this shortcut. Now is a good time to mention the way that the depths works. There is a certain property of the depths that I'm sure you've noticed. It gets kind of slow in here and it gets very floaty. And this is because of the tick rate, the physics tick rate. The normally 40 ticks per second is being slowed based on, I believe it's called the depths melt value. And so everything takes longer and your inputs are going to be slower. So for EI jumps and for slides, you want to make sure that you're being very intentional about your key press order. Particularly for slides, pressing down and jump a lot of the time just won't work. And of course, I'm recording Rain World, so it's going to work fine. But trust me, with a lot of experience, it doesn't work. Sometimes. The way to get around this for slides is to very intentionally press down before jump. It's pretty easy to do this. And as you get into the lower depths, you'll have to space out that timing even more and more to make sure that you're successful every time. But it's a good habit to be in, to be pressing down before your jump input, rather than at the same time. For EI jumps, you kind of need to be very intentional about pressing. your direction key, and then down, and then jump for the slide, and then throw, and then jump, and then forward. It takes a lot of practice, but you have to be very cognizant of what order you're pressing things in. Otherwise, disaster will strike, you'll do a whiplash, and it's like making a mistake with reverb on in music. You're just going to be sitting in your sorrow for a few minutes while you recover. That's hyperbole, but it takes a long time to recover. And with that, you're done with the upper depths. For the 8th room, hello, I'm Shrub's editor, also known as Shrub, and I just was editing this and realizing how the specificity drops off as I go into the lower depths here, and I don't kind of retain the same level of detail that I do in the upper depths. And the reasoning for that is the lower depths is really a practice makes perfect kind of area. It's always going to be different, you're always going to mess something up, and depending on the items you have and what your skill set is, it's going to be completely different. A lot of it is just learn the terrain and then react to the situation you have. So while I'm going to show you what I aim for, and you should have some principles to go for in each run, it's going to change each time. And it's just a lot of repetition will teach you what to do and the thousands of different scenarios you can get. So good luck. This room is where the depth starts to get really interesting. You're significantly slowed when you're in here, as it's the start of the lower depths, so you have to be very careful about your slide inputs, as I mentioned. And the main principle for this room is you want to do a slide pounce and then spam roll pounce inputs as you land. So what that looks like is a slide pounce here, and then hold right and down and spam jump. And that way you don't take any fall damage. How does that work? Well, it's kind of magic, but essentially the game is sort of pre-calculating. Wow, I actually just killed myself there. Allow me to cheat real quick. The game is essentially pre-calculating when you're going to hit the ground. And if you're in a slide pounce state like that, you kind of have the ability to just spam jump fast enough that you pounce before you actually hit the ground, but when the game allows you to do a pounce. And it's kind of based on the terrain. It's really weird. I'm not an expert, but essentially you want to be aiming for these kind of stairs right here, and you want to be holding down, right, and spamming jump. Doing a slide pounce up here is the most important part of getting any of that to work. So if you mess up this slide pounce, maybe by hitting your head here, don't commit to it. You will probably die when you land, and it will be disastrous, and you'll be very sad. It'll look like this. Lost a lot of time being stunned there. So if you mess up the slide pounce, it's okay. You can recover from it. Just hold the left wall here and just be careful as you fall down. And then maybe if you're a gamer, you can aim for this pole here, but I'm not a gamer, but you can grab it and you'll be all right. To line up this slide pounce, I like to exit the shortcut and then just be about a slug cat's width to the left of it, and then start the slide pounce. And that way you won't clip your head right here, and you'll have a nice arc. To line up with the stairs down below, as I mentioned, you kind of want to be about here. You can see there's some tiles that I'm aiming for, and that's what I'm going to line myself up with so that on the screen transition, I begin holding right and down and spamming jump. There was that failed slide that I was talking about. So again, this is what it looks like. I'm going to line up with those tiles a little bit. I was a little bit to the right, but should still be okay. And yeah, that's what it looks like. And then I like to pause and slide out of this room just because it's really clean. I don't know if it actually even saves time, but I really hate kind of climbing into tunnels like this. It just feels really bad. Onwards with the 9th room. This room is pretty simple. The most important part is you want to get a great exit boost out of here, and then stand up and then hold your momentum by jumping again. And then you want to start a fast roll, and you want to make sure you take this upper path here. So you want to pounce out of the fast roll about here, and you'll land up here. However you get up here, just climb up. As I fall off here, I like to hold right, fast roll, and then do the 2 slightest taps of jump you've ever seen. If you hold jump for too long, you'll end up hitting your head right here, which is very evil. And it doesn't lose that much time, but it doesn't look that clean. So I like to try and get those 2 fast roll pounces. Pounce, pounce, and then I like to line myself up. And as you land here, you want to roll for quite a bit actually before you pounce so that you can end up in this shortcut. A lot of the time, if you pounce too soon, you're going to end up short, and it's going to lose you a little bit of time. So it's worth the time to roll till you're about at this pole here, and then pounce out of it and end in this shortcut. 10th room. I messed up holding right at the end there, but you got the principle for that room. So essentially, exit boost out, press jump, jump again, and then from this upper platform here, jump off. You don't want to jump too high. If you hold jump for too long, you'll hit your head on the roof, and that's evil, but you get the timing for this. Jump a little bit, fast roll, pounce really quickly. Once you're in this valley, about here, you want to take the time to line up a slide pounce. If you check my input display, I will hold down a lot sooner than I'll press jump, which is, again, it's that depth slowdown thing. Holding down before you jump for a slide pounce is really important. Over here, I like to do a regular roll. And the reason I do that is any time there's these kinds of terrain staircases, doing a fast roll tends to get interrupted a lot more than a regular roll. So I'll take the time to do a regular roll, pounce out of it, and then climb up here. Once again, we've got one of these kind of ledge climb over speed boost things at the top here. So you climb over, jump, fast roll, pounce, fast roll again, ideally. Sometimes you won't get the second fast roll. It's all right. Just climb into here. And then as you make it onto this lower platform here, anywhere in here really, you can start an E-slide. And again, be very, very aware of your inputs. Press left long before you throw, and you'll make it over to here. From here, I like to just jump out. This is kind of freestyle, but if you can get a nice jump off this platform here, you can do a fast roll into this shortcut, which I don't think I demonstrated because it's really hard to time. However you get over here, sometimes it's just hold right, press jump a bunch of times. It's all right. 11th room. Wow, I did not think I would do that one first take. So from here, you want to do an exit boost out, climb up onto this platform right here. Be careful not to confuse it with this lower platform here, because they can kind of look like they're at the same elevation at first glance. And from here, if you're doing EI jumps, you want to do an EI jump here. Again, be very aware of your inputs. It's really hard to do EI jumps in the depths, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware. You can do an E-slide here and jump out of it if you want. That's fine. Or you can just do a regular slide pounce. Jump out of it, do a roll pounce, you'll end up over here. From this upper platform, again, another EI jump. You'll get a variety of distances. Sometimes you'll land in this little pit here, so you want to do a fast roll. Sometimes you'll land on this little piece of terrain here, and you can do a momentum jump off of here. However you do it, you'll end up, oh my god, eventually over here. You can also do an E-slide and jump out of it. Carry your momentum, do a roll if you can get it, and you'll end up over here just the same. Or if you have no items, slide pounce, roll, I don't know, just kind of freestyle it. Whatever works, works. You'll end up over here. I like to do an E-slide from this upper platform. If you do it from the lower one here, you'll be fine as well. But I like to start it from here because the sooner the better. Pop out of it, and then you can see this kind of dangling vine here. And this is where I like to start my slide pounce. Slide pounce. You should be able to clear this lump entirely. And you'll land in here. I don't like to do a roll. I'll just stand up and then walk. And then once the slugcat's entire body is behind this little lump of terrain here, I like to start a second slide pounce. And ideally, you get a little head hitter here, and you'll hold regular roll inputs, and you can roll and then pounce up to here. From here, If I'm going for consistency, I'll jump up under this pole, and then usually I'll have 2 items at this point. I'll do a throw, double throw over to here, and then start a roll chain. But if I desperately need time save, there is enough platform here to do an EI jump. This is probably, I think, just with the combination of the distance and the timing in the depths, it's probably the hardest EI jump in the game. Wow, I just did it twice in a row. I'm a gamer. So going with my double throw here, I'll roll pounce into here, fast roll pounce into here, and then enter the shortcut. You're done with that room. Room 12, I believe. I goofed up a little bit at the end there, but it's alright. It's only like a 500 millisecond time loss. I like to boost out of here, and then if you don't have any items, you can do another ledge jump over speed boost thing on this second to last ledge here. So ledge jump over, and then fast roll, and then regular roll, and then, yeah. This is a neat chain here, but recently it was found on this third drop down here. 1, 2, 3. You can start an E slide, and then jump out of it, and then fast roll, maybe throw another item, and you'll end up on this ledge here. That's super clean, but like most of the lower depths, it's just a matter of knowing the terrain, and then depending on what items you have and what you feel comfortable with, kind of just freestyling it so you end up over here on this platform. From here, take the time to do a slide pounce. I like to do another regular roll. Again, it's one of those kind of staircase terrains, so I'm just going to do a regular roll to avoid getting a potential roll interruption. And then you can pounce out of it and you'll end up over here. This is just a matter of jumping up and ending on this upper platform here. Once you've made it to this upper platform here, I have a specific lineup and about 3/4 of the way across where I like to hold right, jump off, and then do a regular roll about here, this little drop. We'll see it in action right now. And you can do a regular roll there and then pounce out of it and do another regular roll. Regular roll, pounce on the screen transition, regular roll, pounce, and then fast roll. And then pounce about when your head goes over this lump here. And you should land on this platform here. And now comes some funniness with being in the lower depths. Just doing a regular jump here and holding jump is enough to be able to get a fast roll. It's enough height. So from here, hold jump, fast roll, pounce, fast roll, pounce, and then throw an item. This is what I goofed up in the demonstration. Again, it's freestyling. However you do it, you'll end up over here. Room 13. So to start this room, you want to boost out, press up, and then jump again. Sometimes you'll get a crazy boost like I just did there. Sometimes it won't be as good as I did in the demonstration, and you'll end up jumping on this platform here. And you'll end up hitting your head actually, which is great because when you hit your head like this, you can start a fast roll here and you can jump over the mound there. So however you do it, either it's a fast roll over here or you've carried your momentum, you'll end up over here, just jump off, and then Again, I like to hold regular roll inputs here just because the terrain's a little bit jumpy. You're not actually going up the terrain, but you're basically doing an instant roll pounce, and at that point, it's kind of just safer to do regular roll inputs. However you do it, just roll pounce here. I like to just jump again, and then regular roll pounce, and then you'll end up over here, and you can enter this room. This room is kind of hard to demonstrate, but it's slow enough. I think I can just narrate what I'm doing out loud. So it's boost out, press up, fast roll, double throw, and then hold fast roll inputs. If you pick up another item here, great. Throw it, and then you can get another roll pounce here, and then you can enter the soup. If you don't get another item, you'll end up just doing a fast roll here, and you'll end up just short of the platform, and you can just climb up over and jump into the soup as well. Right on the screen transition, or a little bit after, this is when I hold down and right, and you want to make sure you don't get stuck in this land here. So you want to make sure you hold right enough to make it around here. Something important to note, when you are in the water here, you can press jump and you're not going to lose any oxygen. However, there is stamina. So if I spam jump, you'll notice I'm not really going any faster, if you can even see where I am. But if I wait a little bit, get my stamina back, and then press jump with timing, I go a little bit faster. So I'll do it going down as well. Jump, 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 jump. And it goes a little bit faster than just holding down. Another thing to note, wiggling while you swim is faster, so I like to hold right jump, left jump, right jump, left jump, and alternate like that. And ta-da, you're done.